Hi, my name's Callum. I head up the heat pump department here at Glow Green. I'm going to run through you the connection to the myVAILLANT Connect, the download of the app, and how to control your system in the most efficient way possible. With all heat pump installations, we install the myVAILLANT remote monitoring gateway. This allows Glow Green to look at all your heat pump settings and make sure that it's been set up in the most efficient way. And over time, we can see all the data being collected and make sure that you're using it as efficiently as possible. The remote monitoring allows Glow Green and the customer to monitor the efficiency of the system. It also allows any issues that should arise in the system to be raised with the customer and Glow Green. If, for example, you have a pressure drop, the system will say this system needs to be topped up. This will happen before the system turns off or there's any problems. After the installation, you'll download the myVAILLANT app, and then you'll want to get this connected to the myVAILLANT Connect. Make sure that you log into the app beforehand and you have your Wi-Fi code ready. When you log into the app, it's going to ask you to add a new home. Follow the instructions of the app until you get to a point where it will say, take a picture of the QR code. Now, you can either take a picture of the QR code on the piece of paper that comes in the box, or you can take a picture of the QR code on the back of the appliance. When you do this, the appliance has to be flashing blue. Now, you do this by unplugging the appliance, plugging it back in, and then waiting while it starts up. It will go to a green solid light. It will then flash green, but the time when you want to take a picture of that QR code is when this is flashing blue, and it will flash blue for 15 minutes. If it stops flashing blue, unplug it, plug it back in again, and start the process again. Following the heat pump installation, the system will need topping up a few days or a few weeks after the installation. The engineer will show you where the filling loop is and how to do this. You'll find that on your phone app, you'll get an alert which will say F22 system needs to top up. You will need to fill the system to 1.5 bar, and once pressurized to 1.5 bar, you may have to press the reset button on the interface. It says reset right next to the button for you. If it hasn't dropped below 0.8 of a bar, just topping the system up should be fine and everything will work. But if you find that the system doesn't work and it stays in a fault code, you will need to press the reset button. This is very common with heat pump installations. We use volumizers and buffers, which means the system's full of a lot of water. And when you fill up a system, it's full of micro bubbles. And over time, these micro bubbles will settle and start to naturally come out of the system, causing the system to depressurize slightly. It's not an issue and just requires a quick top up. If we see that this requires a top up multiple times, we need to investigate, and we will. Okay, let's have a look at the home screen. So at the top, we've got the name of the home, which you can change. You can see the temperature, what it is outside at the property, because you'll have the weather compensation out screwed to the wall outside. You've got your quick access hot water boost, just boost the hot water immediately up to your designated temperature. Ventilation boost, that will turn the heating off for half an hour so you can open all your windows and air the property out. Absence mode is what you press if you want to go on holiday. Going down, we've got zone 1 and zone 2. Again, you can change these names and you can jump into these and you can slide up and you can access your controls. Again, if I go to the hot water menu, I can slide up and I can change the settings in there. Okay, so we're on the home screen. At the bottom, we've got home, energy, and status. If I select the energy icon, I can see that over the course of the year, the property has used 2,824 kilowatts. Scrolling down, I can see that the heat generated is nearly 10,000 kilowatts. That means we've got a heating seasonal coefficient of 3.94. So let's round that up to 4. That means for every 1 kilowatt of electric that I have paid for, that I've used from the grid, I've produced 4 kilowatts of heat energy in the home. That's why these heat pumps are so efficient. If I scroll up, I can have a look at the monthly usage, weekly usage, and daily usage. Now, what that means at Glow Green is that if you've got a problem with your heat pump, we can have a look at this daily, hourly, across the week. We can make adjustments to make it as efficient as possible. And that way you're getting the most out of this install. Let's go through the domestic hot water setup. To begin with, select the domestic hot water button. We're going to put the direct hot water temperature to 52 degrees by scrolling down to the correct number. Operation mode is going to be time controlled. The circulation button here, that is if you have a hot water circulation pump, which would pump the hot water around the property if you have multiple bathrooms, multiple kitchens. I don't have that. Weekly planner. So for the hot water, what we want is a start time from midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to add another time period from midday to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, I'm going to copy those daily settings, apply that to every other day, apply it, and I'm going to hit the save icon in the top right. Now, the reason we put these hot water times at these specific times is that we don't want the hot water getting in the way of the heating. So if I had my hot water coming on at 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning, that's when I want my house to be warming up, ready for me to get up in the morning. And I don't want the hot water being warmed up at that time. Again, from midnight to 2 o'clock in the morning, it means I've got some nice hot water all ready for the morning. From midday to 2 o'clock means I've got nice hot water ready for the evening as well. If you have solar or batteries or car chargers, anything like that, discuss that with Glow Green and we can adjust this to make sure it's as efficient as possible. Once that's all saved, I can go back. That's all set up for me. Now, the only other thing I need to worry about with the hot water is the quick access on the home screen. If I select quick access, I've got hot water boost here. If I select that, that's going to immediately put my heat pump into hot water mode. So if I ever run out of hot water because I've got friends and family over and they're using the showers, Christmas Day for example, I can hit that hot water boost and it will just put that hot water straight up. So that's it for the hot water. Now let's have a look at the heating settings. I'm going to go to my radiator circuit. I'm going to scroll up. We're going to put the heating operation mode to time controlled and set. We're going to put the setback temperature to 16 or 17 degrees. I'm going to put 16.5. This is the number that the heat pump will keep the house when the heat pump is turned off in the off mode. Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment. Right, so we're going to now go to weekly planner. Now, as we can see, my start time, your start time wants to be half an hour to an hour before you get up in the morning. So I get up at 6 o'clock, so I'm going to put that at 5 o'clock in the morning. The end time wants to be half an hour before you go to bed. So I'm going to put that at 21. So I get a nice early night at 10 o'clock set. Now, one more thing, you've got the temperature on the right-hand side. Now, this temperature is a little bit different to how we're used to with high temperature systems like gas boilers, oil boilers. This temperature on the right-hand side is actually an overheat stat, okay? So I want to set this to a temperature that I don't want my heating to get to. I'm going to explain why a bit later. So I'm going to set this at 22 degrees. Now that I would find uncomfortable. So if my house ever got to 22 degrees, the heat pump would turn off. So I'm going to set it as that. Now, I'm going to copy daily settings again. I'm going to put that to every day. You might want to change your Friday and Saturday if you're up later or you stay in bed longer. But I'm going to go all the same, and I'm going to press the save icon at the top right. Okay, so now you can see the setback temperature now is set at 16.5. So that's the temperature at night that the heat pump's going to keep the house at a comfortable 16.5 degrees. Okay, I don't want to drop any lower than that because then it takes a lot of energy to get the house back up to temperature. So 16 or 17 degrees is probably about right for me. Okay, so now let's have a look at the clever bit. Heat curve settings. Now, as you can see, you've got this graph here. So this is what this, for example, is this you could imagine is using the stat on the wall. I'm a bit chilly, so I'm going to turn it up. Or I'm a bit warm, I'm going to turn it down. So this is where you would do this. So at the bottom, we've got outdoor temperature switch off threshold. Okay, now I'm going to set that right down at 20 degrees. If it gets 20 degrees outside my property, the heat pump will turn off. Minimum flow temperature, I'm going to put at 23 degrees. And steepness of curve. Now this is the clever bit. So I'm going to start putting this down, and you can see that the graph above is starting to move down. So I'm going to put this at 0.65. Now this means that if it's 10 degrees outside, I've got 33 degree water going through the system. If it's minus 10, I've got 47 degrees. Now, what we're trying to obtain here is the house is giving off a certain amount of energy. This is going to be putting the same amount of energy into the property, which will be holding the whole property at a nice comfortable temperature. So if I find that I'm a little bit cold, I'm going to just put it up by 0.5. And you see the graph moves up a little bit, the curve moves up. Now that means that the colder it is, the more energy is put into the property. Now, it does take a little bit of fiddling about to get this right, but once you get this number correct, the house will be held at a nice comfortable temperature for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that at 0.7 and I'm going to hit the save icon at the top. If you've got multiple zones, at the top here I can go to my second zone, hit apply, hit heat bulb, and I'll go back into it, and I'm going to put it all to the same upstairs and downstairs. Save. Okay, so now I'm going to live in the property for a few days. I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to bed, I'm going to find, oh, I'm a bit chilly in this room, I'm a bit warm in this space. So I'm going to go into my heat curve settings and I'm going to drop it down a little bit and I'm going to put it up a little bit, and I'm going to get that right. The lower this number, the cheaper it is that the system will run. The higher the number, the more energy is put into the property. So you've got to find this balance of how you are comfortable in the property. I wouldn't worry about what the numbers mean, it's how you feel in the property. So negotiate with the people that you live with and find a nice comfortable temperature in the property. Set this up, and once this is done, you shouldn't have to mess about with this. Customers are used to setting something up at like 21 degrees because I'm comfortable at 21. Well, that's fine, but that means the heat pump is going to be turning on, getting up to temperature, turning off, on, off, on, off. That's not how heat pumps work. We want this heat pump to tick away, feeding the right amount of energy into the property as is being lost through the fabric of the property. And we spend a lot of time getting the design right to make this work really well. So once this heat curve is set up, it will be holding this at a nice comfortable temperature. So the temperature you set it up at is actually wants to be a bit too high because you don't want it to get there. The only reason we would have that temperature set up is that on a nice sunny day, the sun might be pouring through the window and warming the house up, and it overheats and it will turn off. Or you're cooking a roast dinner, or you've got lots of family over and the place is warm, so the heat pump would turn off at that point. Following the heat pump installation, you'll have the app working on your phone. You may want another member of your household to have control as well. Go to Home at the top, click on Manage Homes. Click on the Home, and then you click on Invite New User. This will allow you to send a message to somebody, which will give them an invitation code. They can then put the invitation code into the app and they will immediately have all the information. You will have the admin user, so you can add and remove people, but that means up to 5 people can have the app in the home. A benefit for landlords is that they can have the admin password on their phone, so they can see how the heating is being used, the efficiency of the system, and making sure that their tenants are nice and warm. Also, the landlord can see if there's any pressure drops or problems with the heating system. They can then send a text message to the tenant, and they can then have access and control over their own heating system. Now we've set up the hot water and heating. This looks quite complicated, but the only things we need to worry about is the hot water is now set up properly. If I ever run out of hot water, I hit quick access and I hit hot water boost. Hot water's done. The other things in the quick access is ventilation boost. Now all that does is turn off the heating for half an hour, which means that you can open all the windows and air the property out. Okay? I don't use that myself, but it's there if you want to. Absence mode, if you're going on holiday, the heat pump needs to be left on all the time because you want to avoid it freezing or being damaged in the cold. So if you hit absence mode when you go away, that's going to, as you can see, that's going to keep the temperature at 15 degrees in the property. It's going to keep the chill out. It's going to keep everything dry. It's going to keep that heat pump nice and safe if there's really hard frost outside. So to conclude, if you run out of hot water, hit the boost button. If you're too warm, go to heat curve settings and drop that steepness curve down a couple of points. If you're too cold, put the steepness of curve up a couple of points. Give it a couple of days, let the house stabilize and get to temperature, and that is all your controls done. So in conclusion, you know how to affect the hot water, the heating, the weather curve, and you can see how the system works so efficiently. You can see how we can see the efficiency by the remote monitoring, and if you have any issues, you can call in and we can organize a meeting where we can go through the controls with you.